All right, guys. Well, anybody knows me. I don't like photos. I don't like videos. I don't like being in them. I don't like seeing a camera in front of me. But here we are. We got to do this shit. Um, I'm introducing myself, making this introduction video for you guys to know, see who I am. My name's Patrick. There's nothing special about me. I'm just an average guy doing my hobby out in the front yard of my house. Um, and a lot of this passion came from, my childhood eras. I've just always wanted to see the planets and the stars, and I never really thought it was possible until probably about 6 years ago when I realized that a little bit of money can get you there. So that's what we're doing now. That's all part of this YouTube, and I want to bring you guys with me on this journey. So, and I also want to be able to introduce you guys to my telescopes as well. We're going to start with the 5-inch and move all the way up to the 16-inch. So let's take a look at the 5-inch. Okay, this is the 5-inch. There's nothing really special about it. I picked this up probably about a few weeks ago now. At this point, didn't think that I would really like it as much as I do, and it's simply because it's so portable and it's so powerful for its little small size. I mean, you can see how small it really is. I think it's maybe 18 inches long, and I've already seen Jupiter. I've seen the moon up real close. Jupiter is actually pretty nice through this, believe it or not. It's only a 5-inch, right? So 5-inch Newtonian, has a primary, secondary mirror. It's a reflecting style telescope on an equatorial mount on a tripod. It's not a tracking mount, so everything has to be done by these manual knobs here. You get your normal tube, your sight glass, or your spotting scope. This is how you acquire targets, which is, I'll explain it in another video. These are not really the best, which I'll be swapping over to laser at some point. But sits on a rail, a nice dovetail mount rail. Collimation's extremely easy with these. These are, in my opinion, right? This is just my opinion. If you want to spend just a little bit of money, right? So 400 or less, this is probably your best buy. You get the tripod, the EQ mount, telescope, the rings, all the eyepieces that come with it. I have a whole bag of eyepieces just sitting right there. Your weights, your counterbalance weights, all that stuff will come with it. So, like I said, this is the G Skier. This is probably your best entry level telescope, and you'll be able to see Jupiter, Saturn, bright star clusters, and the moon, right? And people see, you see the moon every single day, or almost all the time, right? But it's way more incredible seeing it up close, and this will get you there, right? And it's a lot of fun to look at it. So a lot of the pictures I've taken and I've posted up on my Facebook have all been through this, right? My older photos have all been through my 8-inch, but the most recent ones have been through this, and it's incredible how clear they are just looking through them for the amount of money that you spend. So I would highly recommend buying this telescope if you're trying to get into the hobby. If not, if you want to spend a little bit more, then that's where the next one's going to lead into. All right, listen, I know we're doing this in my garage. It has been so shitty outside with wind, rain. It's been so cold. So, and my wife, she's been telling me not to do it in the garage because obviously see all my stuff. I got no backdrop. I got none of that stuff. But I don't care. I'm sick and tired of waiting around. I've been under the gun for to make a introduction video. So we're doing this shit right now. So right now, 8-inch telescope. This is an 8-inch Newtonian or Dobsonian telescope. And this is the first one out of the series that's going to be a Dobsonian base, which this base right here is what makes it a Dobsonian. This is a base that, I forget the guy's name who created it, but this is a Dobsonian base. Newtonian telescope. This style telescope, along with the 5-inch, is a Newtonian. But what makes it a Dobsonian is the base. It's the same thing as a 5-inch, has a primary and a secondary mirror. The primary is going to be about the same width as the tube. So this is an 8-inch tube. It's going to be about an 8-inch mirror. And then you got your secondary mirror, which is a diagonally placed mirror that kind of sits at an angle and reflects light back into the tunnel here. Like I said, same setup. Spotting scope, your eyepiece area. This is a 2-speed focusing. I call it a tunnel because it is. I don't know the exact scientific name. Don't quote me on it, right? But this is 2-speed, so you get the initial, get to where you need to go, and then you have your fine-tune adjustment. The 5-inch doesn't have that. This one does. This is what you get for spending a little bit more money on this. I paid about $930 for it about 5 years ago, and maybe like 4 years ago, something like that. You can get them cheaper. I think they're like going for about $700, maybe $800 right now. Like I said, don't quote me on it. Just look on the website. I bought this from High Point Scientific. They are extremely, especially if you live in Massachusetts, they ship to your door like almost next day. This thing will just show up out of nowhere. It's that quick. But if you're looking to get a little bit more serious into exploring the night skies, this is probably your best bet. It's going to suck up a ton of light for an 8-inch telescope. That it's going to get you further out there. So you're going to be able to look at galaxies. You're going to be able to look at nebulas, detailed views of the planet, all that stuff. To be able to see Jupiter and Saturn very well through this telescope, especially with the 5mm eyepiece. It's incredible what you can pick up with this little telescope. And I know I say little, but I mean, judging by my 16-inch, it's much smaller than my 16. This was my first telescope I ever bought. This is what got me into the hobby. I fell in love with it. The minute I looked through this thing on the first night, I was obsessed with it. Absolutely obsessed with it. And never regret buying it. And it's kind of forced me into looking deeper into the skies now. And that's what's going to bring us into our next telescope and the newest telescope. But if you guys want to spend, you guys got a little bit of a budget to spend, right? Somewhere around like $1,000. I would highly recommend doing a Dobsonian, unless you're trying to get into astrophotography, then that's a whole different video that I can show you. But if you're just looking into viewing, having fun with your kids and your family and whoever else are your friends, this is the best bet. And you'll get everything that you want out of it. Okay. Right. So here we are. Last final telescope. This is my newest telescope. It's a 16-inch Dobsonian. It's a truss-mounted telescope. So you got carbon fiber truss that hold up the secondary mirror. This whole head right here, obviously, is to hold the main vanes for the secondary mirror. And it's kind of crazy if you actually really look at it. In the camera, this whole head is for these 4 vanes right here in that little mirror, which is wild. This is probably one of the largest telescopes, production telescopes, that you can buy. This was definitely years in the making for me. I started looking at larger telescopes the day I bought my 8-inch. And, it's one of those things where it's like I need to see how serious I am with this whole hobby. And, yeah, I got frustrated a few weeks back, and I just said, I'm done. I'm done trying. I'm going to go bigger and absorb as much as I can. So I bought this. So this is the 16-inch AD16, Apertura AD16. That's an 88 that I have over there. This is the largest telescope that they make from this company. I know Skywatcher makes a similar telescope. I think it's a 14 or 16-inch. Could be. I'm not entirely sure which one it is, but it extends out, right? So you don't have to build it. I have to build this one. I have to clamp individual legs to the head, which sucks. It's a pain in the ass. But when it's all done and built, it's fun to use. It's an absolute blast. So that's kind of what I've been using the past few nights, and trying to really learn how to deal with all that light. And it has taught me a lot about myself and a lot about astronomy. So, sorry, I'm just hearing fucking noises everywhere. This one comes with the same pieces as the 88 does, like almost identical, right? So the eyepieces really don't change much. It's just more or less your light gathering abilities. So the bigger it is, the more light you're going to gather, which is what you want for those deep, deep space objects. So your galaxies that are further than Andromeda, your Andromeda galaxy is like really close, believe it or not. It's really close, even though it's a couple billion miles away. But some of these deeper galaxies, like the Cigar Galaxy or the Needle Galaxy, those galaxies are so much further away. You're going to need as much light as possible to be able to even view or even see the dot in the sky. And that's what this telescope does. This is actually what it's designed to do. So planetary viewing, not so much on this, even though it'll get up real close. So this will do Jupiter, like almost like you're sitting right in front of it, which is fun. So it's actually pretty cool to watch that happen. So I can't wait for Saturn. Saturn's gonna be coming around here in the fall, and that'll be an absolute blast to see. But if you're really serious into viewing any sort of astronomy stuff, this is probably where you're gonna start off. You could spend a ton of fucking money doing this stuff, and that's exactly what I did with this telescope. This went for, if it was all said and done, it was like $2,600, and I don't regret a single thing. My wife might be not too happy about this purchase, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun using this thing, and the kids love it. It's had to have its own, had to buy its own platform, its own cart for it, that something can hold and support the weight. It also has a cooling mirror in the back. I don't know if you can see it. There's a cooling mirror in the or a cooling fan in the back. The 88 has a cooling fan as well, but I had its battery mounted on the side. And then I also have a computer table for when I'm tracking targets and verifying targets. I can have my computer with me, right next to me, not just laying on the ground, or my iPad or whatever it is that I've used, like maybe a couple beers or whatever. But yeah, these are my 3 telescopes. I wouldn't say unfortunately, it's good for me, but there's probably more coming. I've already picked out a couple more that I've been eyeballing, and we might try our hand again at astrophotography, which is going to be a completely different series in my channel. It's nothing related to viewing, even though I would like to put a camera on these. These are very difficult to photograph. They're extremely difficult to photograph. So I need to buy a dedicated astrophotography camera or a tracking mount, which the 8-inch might go on at some point, depending on if I can find a mount that's able to hold that weight. That's a 30-pound telescope, 35-pound telescope, so it's got to be able to hold that whole weight. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking at doing Romer optics for this at some point, which will turn this into a tracker, and I'll be able to slap a camera on this thing at some point too. So, but as of right now, everything's done by the cell phone, and I may buy a DSLR camera to get better views and better focuses, but we'll see what happens. So, welcome to my channel. Hope you guys have fun with this stuff. You guys can trash me on this channel. You guys can comment whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. You're not gonna hurt my feelings, right? If you have any tips, if you have any dumb questions that you think is dumb, ask them. I'll answer them. We're all in this together, so we're learning at the exact same time. Um, like I said, I've been doing this for about 5 years, 4 years, something like that, and I'm still learning as we go. Right, so I'm always having to adjust. I'm not the most technical person when it comes to fancy electronics and lenses and all that stuff. So I'm figuring it out as I go, literally as I go. So I'm looking at the planet and I'm adjusting and figuring out what works for me. And you guys be there with me. So, um, yeah, like I said, welcome to the channel. Please subscribe, right? Share to your friends, share to your family, whatever it is. I know my family probably thinks I'm weird doing this. I'm a nerd. You probably think I'm a nerd, but whatever. It'd be fun, right? So let's enjoy this ride together. You guys have a good one.